Well, just when the war started in 1939-45, we were just out of college and there wasn't much prospective in view. So at the time they were asking for volunteers for the Navy, and I decided to join the Navy. And I did a stint there from 1941 until 1944, and then I transferred to the RAF that were asking for volunteers for the air sea rescue service. A typical day, it depends, we had very different duties. You're on air sea rescue duty. Sometimes you're on player parts. That's mostly night duties. You got to hurriedly put these things so that the plane, you make a channel for the seaplanes. Actually, we were involved with Sunderland flying boats and Catalinas. That were the two planes that we were involved in. And sometimes you have maintenance, that you run a taxi service, carrying the crews aboard the plane, carrying the engineers, and then you have your boat duty now, your air sea rescue. You sit there in the hut waiting for the call. At the time, the white Americans, they couldn't realize seeing blacks socializing with white women. That was the most thing, the white women. You see, they just couldn't see it. So they are the ones that used to start a lot of the trouble and the problems. The pro-black American, they couldn't do much because they used to come down on them. If they tried to resist, they come down on them like a ton of bricks and lock them up, and they never come out again, and they just push them off to the front. But with us, West Indians, we did put up a bit of resistance. Fight in a pub, because it was typical for you to sit down in a pub having a drink with one or two female companions, and a couple white Americans come in and says, "Okay, nigger, get out of here." Well, using that word to a West Indian is like putting a red cloth before a bull, and we used to go haywire. But afterwards, they realized, don't mess with these West Indians. Well, after 46 November, we went home and got demobbed. But the Jamaican government didn't make any preparation for our return or rehabilitation, because the British government thought, well, it was the Jamaican government to look after us, and the Jamaican government thought it was the British responsibility. For a period, we used to sleep, three of us, moving around together, and we used to sleep on the tube, get the last tube, and end of the line. Some of the tube men that were ex-servicemen used to have pity and lend us blankets and all that. And that's the way we used to survive, and we used to come back in town and walk around in town looking jobs. The general consensus was they were only suited for the broom and menial jobs. So everywhere we saw a vacancy and went there, they said, "Sorry, we haven't anything but a cleaning job or something to do with the broom." Edric Connor, he got a contract to make West Indian records, because they discovered that they hadn't any traditional West Indian songs on record. And Edric Connor, who was a big star at the time, they got in contact with him, and he heard about this group that was about, and he contacted us. And that was the group that made his record. We back him for the recording. The recording was such a success that he said, "Well, we have to get together as a professional group," which he did, and that was the birth of the Southlanders.